I want to speak with you briefly about a dream that I had and about the interpretation of that dream. There was a big tree, huge tree. I was inspecting this tree, just looking at it. And in an instant, the tree shrank to about half of its size. And as soon as it shrank, I immediately began chopping down the tree. I had an axe, I was chopping. I waited for the tree to shrink. It happened very quickly, and then I began chopping. And so I woke up, it was like 3 a.m. I woke up and I just immediately knew the interpretation of that dream, that it was speaking specifically about gold and silver stocks in particular, so gold and silver on the market. And I could go into the reason why a tree represents that, but it has to do with previous things that the Lord has shown me to look into that sector specifically. And I feel like in this time we're about to see a transfer of wealth. The word says that the wealth of the wicked has been stored up for the righteous. And so for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear what the Lord is speaking in these times, they will be part of that transfer. It will be part of that transfer. So, what I see was that the tree shrank very quickly. It wasn't like a slow pullback. It was like an immediate, like 1 day, really harsh pullback. And then during that 1 day pullback, you had time to begin chopping or to get into the market. Now, for me, when I see chopping, it has sort of a dual meaning. It's like the Lord double stacked a dream for me, because I've been frustrated this year because I feel like really clearly that the Lord's told me to write a book about my testimony, a book about my story, about my life, about the things that I've walked through, and how He's taken me out of that onto into a place of joy and peace and love and all these good things that I thought I had before, but I had counterfeit, deceptive versions of them. Anyways, I feel this draw to write a book about my journey around the world through some 40 countries and looking for truth in all the wrong places. And I've been frustrated because I haven't even put a word on paper for about 3 months. I've just been sort of sitting and contemplating the different things. And anyways, the Lord showed me a quote from Abraham Lincoln that said, if I had an hour to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 45 minutes sharpening my axe. And so for me, 2020, that's what this has been. The first 3 quarters of the year, I've been sharpening my axe. And at the time when we see that tree shrink, when the market pulls back dramatically, specifically in the gold and silver ETFs, it will be time for me to begin chopping, time for me to begin writing, also a time for me to be all in that market. When deep darkness is all around you, that's when the true light shines the brightest. And so there will be people that are in absolute torment during this time. And there will be people that have this peace about them because they know that they know that they know. God's so good, and He brings peace in the midst of a storm. So I just want to encourage you, if you don't know the Lord, to seek the Lord, seek His face. Stop leaning on your own understanding. Instead, just lean into Him. Do not lean on your own understanding, because if you try and lean on your own understanding, you won't make sense of much, because there's many things that aren't ours to understand. So we just trust in the Lord and trust in His timing. His timing is so beautiful. But if you take the time and if you listen, you will recognize the voice of our Lord. He wants to prosper you in these times. This is not a message of prosperity. This is not a gospel of prosperity. It's not that. It's not that. If you're more worried about that than you are working and doing the Lord's work, then this is not for you. He wants to prosper people that are going to use those assets for his kingdom agendas. He's shifting wealth. There is a transfer of wealth taking place. And those that have eyes to hear, and eyes to hear. If your eyes can hear, then you ought to get them checked, because your eyes should be seeing and your ears should be hearing, and they should all be attuned to the Lord. So I just say, bless you. Oh, my second part of the dream. So I rolled over at 3:30 a.m. and I said, Lord, I feel like what you were just talking to me about with this tree shrinking and me chopping down the tree had to do with gold and silver ETFs, had to do with the market crashing and then me getting into the market. Lord, I need you to confirm that with me. I rolled over and go back to sleep. I have a second dream. The second dream is this. I'm pulling an empty trailer for a future tiny house. And I'm going around a bend and the empty trailer topples over. Lost control. It topples over. And I immediately woke up and I said out loud, it's a manufactured crash. Bless you.